Hey, do you like jumping? I love jumping when playing Halo. I jump when I'm bored. I love jumping over enemies. And jumping is so natural that I don't even notice when I'm doing it. But can you beat the entire Halo trilogy without jumping at all? Now, just so there are no arguments, a jump is when you press the jump button and the jump animation takes place. That's it. Press button, go up. Here's the plan. I'm going to play through the entire trilogy in order on any difficulty I want, and I'm going to try and jump as little as possible. It's that simple. Just a quick disclaimer, this is a blind run and I haven't watched anyone else try this before. Also, I'm assuming that you've played the Halo trilogy before, so I'll try to keep each level as short as possible to value your time. With all that said, let's stop jumping. Our first level is the Pillar of Autumn. After completing the mandatory eye exam, the Covenant started to attack. Now the game wants us to jump over this pipe. But if we crouch up and down on an angle, we can slide our way up the pipe without jumping. I tested it again to make sure, and yep, certified pipe skip. Most of this level is completely flat, and staircases helped us get higher. The only potential obstacles were these barricades towards the end of the level, but they are completely avoidable by using the side vents. And we made our escape without jumping once. The Halo ring is surprisingly accessible on foot. The hills have an easy to climb gradient, driving feels as smooth as butter, and the only noticeable gap in the whole level was easily clearable with the Warthog. Saving the Marines required no jumping at all, and the above and below ground sections had ramps which made them easily accessible. At the very end, we press X and we teleport inside the Pelican, and level 2 was done. Truth and Reconciliation was our next stop, and the ground sections were very easy on the feet. Once we were inside the ship, there are multiple floors that needed to be climbed, but the ship was wheelchair friendly, and they have heaps of ramps for us to walk up. And we were able to rescue the captain and make our escape without a single jump. The silent cartographer played out just like any normal playthrough. The Warthog was easy to drive, all obstacles were easy to avoid, all floors had easy to navigate ramps, and with one more teleport to the Pelican, this was an easy jump-free experience. Time for an assault. The smooth metallic flooring made walking a breeze. The bridges were wide and accessible. Elevators helped us move between floors. And all the vehicle sections were easy to traverse. With the help of a stolen Banshee, skipping to the end of the level was easy. And we have completed half the game without jumping a single time. But all that was about to change. 343 Guilty Spark is next, and strap yourself in, this is gonna be a long level. With a good angle, you can climb the tree root. And our legs of steel carried us up the hill. The elevator took us deeper into the facility, but eventually we came across our first obstacle. We need to get up on this ledge, but it's slightly too tall to reach. With some careful smacking, we can use the turret as a bridge and get across safely. But there were even more ledges ahead, and with enough momentum, we could just get onto this rubble and then carefully walk across, saving us another jump. We were doing pretty well, but up ahead there were 2 ledges back to back, and it was gonna be a challenge. The melee attacks from the flood were not able to boost us up, and trying to grenade jump without actually jumping is harder than it sounds. It took a lot of failed attempts, but crouching at just the right time when the grenade explodes still gives you a tiny boost, and it was enough to get us onto the ledge. But we couldn't get any higher. The ledge was so close, but just slightly too tall to walk up. But maybe we could use the flood to help us out. If you disarm the flood, like literally disarm them, you can stand on their heads as a platform. Your movements can lead them close to the ledge, but even with a height boost, the ledge was too tall. We managed to recruit 2 more helpers to our side. If you get the angle just right while standing on their head, the flood will walk backwards. But no matter the angle, and no matter how far we made them walk, there was no way to climb the second ledge. I decided to start the level again, but this time on easy difficulty. Perhaps there was something I missed. Using another grenade jump, I was able to get up and grab the overshield. But grenade jumps completely destroy our health, and one grenade explosion completely removes the overshield, which makes the second jump impossible to survive. But after some experimenting, it appears the grenade damage is tied to the difficulty you play on. So, by choosing the heroic difficulty, it actually makes grenades safer to jump with. So, after restarting once again, we nailed the first grenade jump, and with a perfect follow-up, we had done it. Thanks to the reduced grenade damage from playing on heroic, the second ledge has been defeated. It took a tiny bit more shuffling, but we were up on the second floor. It felt so good to make some progress. But then another double ledge approached. Getting onto the first ledge was pretty easy, but the second jump was simply impossible. No matter the angle, I just could not get the height I needed. There were a few flood in the room, and by walking into them on specific angles, you can slowly shuffle them around. But even if you make a tower of flood to stand on, the ledge is still out of reach. After an hour of failed attempts, I had no choice. I had to make the jump. It was so frustrating. I had the grenades and the health I needed, but I just could not find a way up. What's even sadder is that the rest of the level is so easy and it doesn't require any more jumps. This sadly means Halo 1 cannot be beaten without jumping. Well, even though the run is dead, let's see how far we can go without jumping again. The library is essentially a giant walking simulator. The ground is nearly always flat, and the elevators are super easy to get on top of. Another jump-free level. Mum and Dad were fighting again, but after running away from home, a series of ramps safely led us down the tower, and we took to the skies. Now this level is essentially a reverse playthrough of Assault on the Control Room, so there was no jumping required. But in the final section, there is one ledge that was a pain. It was too tall to walk up, and we were completely out of grenades. Luckily, we had missed a ghost earlier in the section, and it had enough momentum to boost us up the ledge. With the help of one final Banshee, 2 betrayals was done. Captain Keyes needed rescuing again, and it was another easy to navigate level. The ground sections were easy to walk through, and once we were back inside the ship, it was a leisurely walk through the corridors. After high-fiving the captain, we dropped down to the Banshees, and Keyes was done with no jumping. Only one level to go, let's do it. With the exception of a few added ladders, the mall was very similar to the first level, and it was super easy to navigate. Oh look, it's the first jump we skipped. Good times. We climbed a few ladders, and we found some new toys to play with. By sticking to the right of the engine room, there's a series of ramps leading straight to the top. And after a few explosions, our elevator arrived, and it was time to drive. The final driving sequence was identical to any regular playthrough. And after one final dash to the end, Halo 1 was done, and with only one single jump. I was pretty impressed with how many obstacles we had overcome, but I'm still slightly disappointed that only one single jump stopped this from being a perfect 0. But maybe Halo 2 would be jump-free. Welcome to Halo 2. My eyes needed testing again, and after a cozy ride with Johnson, the shooting could begin. The floors were flat, enemies could be shot from above, and after dropping down, the murder cycle continued. The Mac cannon gave us an easy ramp up to the top, and after defusing the bomb, Cairo Station was jump free. Outskirts was next, and Johnson jumped on my head to mock me. Defending the courtyard was a breeze, and the city streets had very smooth paving. There were no major obstacles to worry about, and once we had a warthog, it was a smooth drive to the end. The city was in sight, and it was tank time. But no door can stop my all-terrain tank. And you can easily skip both doors with some creative angles. With the help of a Marine, we demolished the enemy forces and climbed our way through the shelter. You can simply walk onto the Scarab, and the pilots met an explosive end. Another jump-free level. We can finally play as our boy the Arbiter. After infiltrating the facility, I was pleased at how easy it was to navigate on foot. The level was entirely jump-free, and after a short Banshee ride, the heretic leader was inside. By using a combination of lunging and pressing the reload button at the same time, we can send Arbiter flying around the room without pressing jump.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Elevator ride was incredibly boring, and after some more flood shenanigans, the chase was on. We took the lift, cut the cable, slowly walked back through the facility, and confronted the heretic leader. A reload lunge sent us flying to the balcony, and from our new vantage point, the heretic leader had nowhere to hide. Another easy win. My favourite Halo level of all time is here. After defending the landing zone, me and the boys are going for a ride. We had a lot of fun mowing down enemies, but once they dropped the tank off, we were unstoppable. Ramps helped us climb up the central structure, and with some friendly smacks, we blitzed our way through Delta Halo. With the honor guards taken out, it was time to hunt down a prophet.
That's what I thought he said.
The first section of Regret was pretty much a flat surface. Once you cross the platform, you can shoot the enemies from the comfort of your gondola. The underwater sections had ramps in nearly every room, so it was easy to run and gun our way through the temple. More gondolas were ahead, but some quick sniping solved the problem, and we had successfully walked our way to the Prophet's hideout. Lucky for us, the Prophet was at the perfect height for boarding, and I bet he regrets not locking the door. Jokes aside, this was a fun level with no jumping shenanigans required. The sacred icon would be a test of my patience. The very first ledge is too tall for the Arbiter to climb. Plasma grenades seemed ineffective at giving us any height. But could an enemy sentinel be the key? With a combination of melee cancelling, the sentinel can effectively fly us around the room. Took a little bit of steering, but we were able to punch our way up to the first ledge. The first major section was completely walkable, and after taking out all the sentinels and flood, the door was open. But there's quite a big gap to get across. Lucky for us, there was one single frag grenade on the floor. Our first attempt wasn't the best, but round 2 gave us the height we needed to clear the gap. But there are about 6 more jumps that need to be crossed in this room alone, so we were in for a treat. Melee cancelling the flood got us over the first barrier, and after patiently waiting for any flood to come our way, we slowly zigzagged our way across each ledge. With the help of 2 more enemies, we had made it to the piston. And then round 3 of the ledges could begin. Some lucky timing helped us cross the first ledge. and 2 perfectly placed grenades were able to boost us up over the second. Just when I thought things were going to be smooth, you guessed it, more ledges. And with the help of 1 frag grenade, the slope was the perfect steepness for us to walk up. The rest of the level was all about going down and clearing out the flood. With a quarantine zone established, the ghost helped us zip through the level. There were a few on-foot sections, but they were completely tame, and after finding another ghost, we could boost our way straight to the gondola. Halo 2 sure loves its long elevator rides, but we had arrived. The icon was secure, and the level was completely jump-free. Master Chief was back, and the first few sections were easy peasy. Cortana told us to rescue some Marines, and things got weird. The level was a walker's dream. The outdoor sections had smooth slopes, and after the final fight section, Bravemind was done without a single jump. Uprising was next, and the ground was completely walkable. Everything was reachable through ramps, and nearly all enemies can be avoided. Once you have the ghost, you can skip straight to the end of the level. A short and sweet Arbiter adventure. High Charity was our last mission as the Chief, and the level is all about riding elevators. Some go up, some go sideways, and some go up again.
But slowly.
There were a few sections with actual enemies to fight, but they were just getting in the way of more elevators. We walked to the end with no issues, and all Master Chief levels have been beaten without jumping once. But could the Arbiter bring it home? The glorious Spectre shredded our foes, and the ramps guided us along. After freeing the boys from jail, it was Banshee time. While I took out the wraiths, Johnson took care of the door. The rubble is just wide enough to fit the Banshee inside. With our secret weapon stashed away for the battle, it was go time. But there was one problem. I couldn't get back up the ledge. The brute shot couldn't boost me up, and plasma grenades were useless. The gap at the end was too large for me to cross. It looks like we're in trouble. But after going back to the last checkpoint, I was boosted up the ledge. One of the elites decided to roll off the ledge, but his roll was so badass that it pushed me up. I guess you can say he's a legend. But thanks to his help, the Banshee was in reach. We could patiently shoot Tartarus, and we had done it. Halo 2 was now complete. Thanks to the help of some cool movement techniques, we were able to conquer this game without a single jump to our name. But would we be able to finish the fight? Halo 3, our final hurdle in the jump-free journey. Within the first minute, Johnson was mocking us again.
Why do you always jump?
We passed a few more eye tests, and this large log is our first obstacle. It seemed tricky at first, but with enough momentum, you can just walk over the log. But there was trouble ahead. There are 3 ledges that we need to get over, and they're gonna be a huge pain. They can't be walked up, we have no grenades, and there are no enemies to melee towards. We were screwed. But jumping in the very first level would break my heart. There has to be a way up. Now you can kill Marines to make them hostile, but the problem is that the Arbiter and Johnson can both kill you with a single shot. It took several kills to make Johnson hostile, but once he was angry, we could melee up the first ledge. But getting up here is one thing, surviving the Marines is another. After changing the difficulty to easy, here are my 5 steps to success. Step 1, kill the Arbiter and steal the carbine. Step 2, walk over the log. Step 3, kill Johnson multiple times to slow him down. Step 4, make the Marines hostile and then lunge up the first ledge. And Step 5, repeat for ledge number 2. And if you are lucky, the Marines will forgive you, and a delightful checkpoint is yours. The timing for the third ledge is a bit trickier, but if you kill a Marine and Johnson at just the right time, you can lunge yourself up. This took a silly number of attempts to pull off, and it was only by dumb luck that I was able to get through without jumping. The waterfall was in sight, and after crouching under the branches, most of the level was a pleasant walk through the jungle. The final section was easy to navigate. We freed Johnson, and Sierra 117 was done. Commander Keyes needed our help. After grabbing a gun, we climbed the stairs, defended the base, and went for a casual walk. We snuck past the brutes, killed anyone who could jump, and walked to safety. A super chill mission. You want to go for a drive? The African plains were beautiful, but we sadly said goodbye to our beloved warthog. Lucky for us, there was a ladder at the bottom to help us get back on track. And after stealing a new ride, we cleared out the landing zone. A short, sweet, and jump-free mission. The storm was approaching, and with the help of the warthog, we blitzed through the first section. The ghost wrecked our foes, erased the wraiths, even the scarab had no chance. But we were back on our feet, and making friends wherever we went. There were no jumps required in this level at all, and with the cannon disabled, things were going pretty well. Floodgate was next, and getting around without jumping was quite doable. The flood posed little threat, but while fighting them, I was magically sent across the room. After looking a little bit closer, the elite's thighs were too thick for the chief to handle. Navigating the rest of the level was simple, and we were summoned to our next adventure. The Ark was a beautiful sight, and the starting section was action-packed, but also jump-free. Large vehicle sections were ahead, and after stealing a chopper, we aggressively assaulted the brutes. With the AA Wraiths disabled, we asserted dominance with our tank, but another scarab wanted to play. After boarding the beast, we watched the fireworks and executed anyone in our way. The rest of the level has easy to navigate hallways and large open spaces that are flat. Another easy win for the chief.
Johnson, look sharp.
We haven't killed a prophet in a while, but we can change that. We smacked out the wraiths, went for a drive, said hi to the brutes, and went for a flight in the skies. The mongoose scooted us around our foes, the hornet got us close to the action, and after some smacks, the tower was in sight. The rest of the level was just a straight line. We fought brutes going one way, and then fought the flood going back, and we were one step closer to victory. Let's go save Cortana. To keep it short, the level is mostly walkable on foot. There is an occasional drop down to a lower floor, but you can steamroll your way through most of the level without any issues at all. But there are two gaps in this room that were problematic. With lucky timing, you can lunge across the first gap, but the second gap was going to be a little bit trickier. Plasma grenades were useless, but after some experimenting, the brute shot was a consistent way to clear the first gap. With the help of a deployable cover and a brute shot, we had just enough height to get across. And it was a smooth walk to Cortana. The run back to the Pelican was issue-free. With Cortana by our side, we can now finish the fight. It was a cold walk through the snow, but we beat down the flood and slowly climbed the tower. With the flood taken care of, we can put Spark to sleep. The collapsed ice was the perfect angle for walking up,
We still have a chance.
and after reaching the Warthog,
Go, go, go!
we rode our chariot to victory. We had done it. Halo 3 has been completed without jumping. So, let's answer the question. Can you beat the Halo trilogy without jumping? Sadly, no. But we were so close. With only one mandatory jump in Halo CE, this was nearly a perfect jump-free playthrough. Well, thank you so much for watching this rather silly video. I had a lot of fun exploring new ways to overcome obstacles, and I hope you've enjoyed my journey. I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. God bless.